Welcome to episode 150 minus 135, episode 15. Took the scenic route. We're back at it. Your host, Mr. Miyagi.
Daniel San.
And Mr. Meowgly, the dojo pet.
Welcome to the final episode. Uh, anyway, let's just jump into it. We got a sponsor today. Are you looking for a place to live on the beach in the party city of the USA? We're talking Surfside, Miami, Florida. Boy, do I have a vacation spot for you at the Champlain Towers in Surfside, Miami. Right on the water. I guarantee the water does not affect structural damage that will later lead
I'm gonna leave now. I know where this is going.
to
It was a good run.
big issues. Move on down. Coke, Cubans, and just a party time all around. Move down to the Champlain Towers. I don't know, Braden. You can come back now. Nothing bad happens with. Yeah, it's safe. Nothing bad happens with this sponsor for once. Um. Oh, there's something. Oh, I have a little breaking news ticker going across my monitor. Florida building collapse. More than 150 missing. 9 dead. 55 apartments destroyed.
There it is.
Huh.
There it is.
I hope it's not Champlain. It is Champlain Tower. Well, that's an issue.
Is it really at this point? Is it really an issue at this point? Like, it's just expected.
What?
Yeah.
That Liam will have a poor choice of sponsor of the many sponsors that try to court us, or just that the building collapse is not an issue.
Oh well, I mean, I was just gonna say that our sponsorships are guaranteed to be. It's basically a death sentence, so it's not even an issue anymore. We just have good insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
Can you imagine though? You're just vibing in your apartment. Maybe you just got stoned and you're playing like some GTA 5 or some shit, and then it's just you're on like the 20th floor, or no, you're on like the 5th floor, and like all 30 floors above you come down upon you. Like, the worst part is it was just one section of the apartment building. So some guy said he heard a noise, he opened his door, and he just looked down, and there's just a pile of apartment. Like, 150 people are missing, and I don't think they're going to find them alive. I think it's a real 9/11 kind of scenario we got here.
I mean, there have been like reports of people who have been yelling from under the rubble for help.
But yeah, you're not guaranteed to die in a situation like that. Like,
To be fair,
you'd be pretty fucking lucky to not. But
I think I'd
it's
rather
not
just die in that situation. Like
it's
sitting
a
under
quitter
rubble.
mentality.
Sitting under rubble. You're goddamn right. Hell, you've known me for long enough, Jake.
Okay, well, it's been
I'm a fucking quitter.
it's been 4 days of searching, and they're still missing 150 people in this pile, which means the pile's probably pretty deep.
I would imagine. I would like to Google this. Let me look at the pile.
Uh, yeah, it's a wide, deep pile.
Yeah, buildings tend to be fairly big.
Yeah, and when they come down, it's not.
Down hard.
Yeah, the bigger they are, the
Fucking
harder
hey,
they fall.
that is a big pile.
Yeah, you know what they say.
That's like, Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying though. It's like you could just be chilling, minding your own bit. Like at any point, like my apartment could fucking collapse. Your apartment just collapses, and like that's such a shitty way to die, especially if you don't die immediately and you're like pinned for like 4 days.
Well, and the thing is, like, a pile like that, you can't, like, get a fucking excavator and roll it on top and just start shoveling shit off, because there's people in there.
See, I disagree actually, and I think their lack of affirmative action has led to more deaths. What you gotta do is you gotta weigh this like a scale, okay? You just go, you run over 1/3 of the pile and just start digging straight down the center. You'll probably kill a lot of people in the process, but motherfucker, there's 150. You should save 50 people. They're saving no one by just fucking going, one cinder block, two cinder block. The streams are getting quieter, but it's harder for me to sleep at night because I hear them eternally in a monologue in my head. Just fucking, you can't hear streams over the excavator.
That's true, but like,
I mean,
really, the shitty thing is, I mean, what? Okay, this is the shitty thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a shitty thing, right?
The only
But-
issue with this.
Well, okay. Well, the thing is, I don't know if you guys know, but normally in apartments, there's an expensive side and there's a less expensive side.
yeah.
So it's actually the more expensive side that collapsed because it's right on the water. The other side faces like inland, faces a street and other people's houses. So like, really, you actually were better off being a little bit broker and not going on the expensive waterfront view because you know, now you have a better view. Now, not only are you on the good side of the apartment, but you just have to open your door. You basically have a patio of a hallway.
You've heard tax the rich. Get ready for collapse the rich.
Hey, Tim.
With-
Here all week.
Future adds to the series, such as I don't know, evade the rich, persuade the rich, maybe.
Holocaust to the rich.
Okay, I don't know about that. Cam, what's up?
Boy.
You know, you know what they say, to make profit, you have to pay the Holocaust. But, he's fucking hilarious. He's on it today. Anyway, let me just paint a quick scenario for you guys, and we'll move on from this terrible story. Because I want to lighten it up a bit. So say there's this guy, he works hard his entire life. He gets an apartment here. He has a full family. Everything's all good. He wakes up. It's a Sunday morning. It's crisp. He's so happy. He looks out into the ocean, and his wife's like, "Hey, can you go ask Jeff across the hall if he's got any sugar for us to borrow?" And he's like, "Sure thing, love of my life." He crosses the hallway over to the side that doesn't collapse, gets the sugar, opens Jeff's door, and just watches it go like a fucking Jenga tower. And
I just want to. I'm just gonna move past that.
Fun thought experiment.
I just want to
He
add a
won't.
picture to the Discord. I thought the part that collapsed was like equal to the side on the left of the building that didn't. But look at this picture. Like it's a whole, like that's a whole other apartment building.
Yeah.
Yup.
Like I thought it was just pretty much the same as on the left side there that collapsed. But no, it's like double the size. Like half that whole apartment building came down.
Yeah.
That is.
What does it say? Like
massively unfortunate.
55 units or something like that?
Yeah,
Jesus.
55 units. It's a lot of damage. Flex tape can't fix that.
Realistically, from
you
the
give
smart
Phil
guy.
Swift enough cocaine, he could solve this crisis.
I shouldn't say
Flex
from the
tape,
smart
of course.
guy, but Liam, physically, like as in physics, which
Yes.
side is it better to be on the bottom or the top of this apartment when it collapses? Also, I
Top.
just saw that syphilis
Well-
followed, so thank you,
Right.
syphilis,
Oh,
for the
thank
follow.
you, syphilis. Sorry we missed
Okay.
that.
Syphilis, Liam. Jesus
Syphilis,
Christ.
Jesus, syphilis.
Thanks for the follow, syphilis. You never leave for life.
Definitely top, I'd say, because the thing is,
Yeah. Right.
top is you have less shit falling on you, so you will take more. There'll be more like energy damage taken from the actual fall, but it's better to have your legs broken and be on top of the rubble pile than to
And be at the
have
bottom.
working legs but have like 20 stories of apartment building above you, because they aren't getting, like 150 people are missing. They might find 10 more, but after 4 days it's getting pretty narrow that they're doing.
Yeah, I don't imagine people grab the water bottle before the whole apartment collapsed. Like that's
Yeah.
you know, you're pretty much left to just your own body.
And the worst part
whatever's left of
was, an engineer came over in 2018 and was like, "Yo, this building needs like $9 million in repairs. The structural damage, it's sunk 2 millimeters a year every year since the 90s, and the concrete is cracking. You guys might want to get on this right away." And they're like, "Gotcha, duly noted." And here we are.
And with the amount of units in that apartment building, like they were clearing probably like almost close to the 9 million required to fix the building on a monthly basis, right? Like we're talking Miami near the ocean here. These are not cheap apartments.
No,
This
Oh
no.
yeah,
very much
those
could
were
have been
probably
avoided.
like 2,500, 3,000 US dollars
Yeah.
a month, I would say, per
Yeah,
unit.
exactly.
Yeah, because they're all
It's
big
55,
balcony.
55 units that were lost. Probably at least another 55 in the apartment on that. Yeah, that's so much money,
Yeah,
man.
no.
And let's be real, the whole property is useless now. You can't just rebuild the collapsed apartment building and be like, yeah, come move on back in, enjoy Miami beaches. Not
They
happening.
just kind of like take a big recip saw and cut down that whole hallway, make it nice and flush, build a wall, put some windows in it, boom, new seaside view from your hallway.
Easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Just
Yeah.
don't mind the excavation crew down there carrying out bones and rubble from the courtyard.
The real talk is though, the real question is you live in this apartment. You live on the side that thankfully for you did not collapse, right?
Yes.
You immediately want to get the fuck out of there, right? Like I would not be trusting living in that building.
I think
anymore.
they would have evacuated everybody.
Good. Okay.
I don't think they're like, yeah, no, you can just chill here.
Just chill.
Just vibe. If it comes down, we'll catch you.
Man, these rent evictions are getting really crazy in their in their methods.
Yeah, love it or list it. Fucking type beat. But yeah, no, tragic story. Shout out to our sponsor. And moving on. This note just says ass station, which I think refers to my prostitute encounter I had this week.
Oh, the ass station. Okay. All right.
So, god damn. Fucking every night it's something new. And, like, just as I think, like, I've worked this job all of March, all of April, all of May, now, like, so I'm 4 months in full-time night shift. I'm pretty accustomed to seeing strange shit. And, like, around 11:30, a truck pulls up really weirdly, and then a lady gets out, and then, like, has a bag and goes into the bathroom. I'm like, huh, she's kind of different. And she comes out, and in the bathroom, she changed into, like, a black, it was, like, half lingerie, half, like, really short dress. Just very, like, something I wouldn't change into in a gas station bathroom, personally. Gets back into the truck, comes back into the store 5 minutes later with just a shit ton of cash, and is buying, like, a phone card and groceries. And, like, I'm like, okay. Then she goes back in the truck, and they're just there for, like, half an hour. And then they drive off, just sitting in the parking lot. And then she comes back walking into the store at like 4 a.m., buys a charger. At this point, I'm picking up she's a prostitute. And then goes to plug in her phone, and like that's not working. And then she refunds the charger, and then I'm like, and then I get a phone call, and he's like, hey, this is really weird. Is my mom there? I need to pick up my mom from the gas station. And then I'm like, okay. So I just hand her the phone. She's just been vibing in the store for over half an hour now. And then it's like, I'm like, yeah, your son said he called for you? And she didn't really respond. Like, yes, it's my son. She's like, I'm waiting for a guy to pick me up. She never said my son. And then goes back and then hangs up. And then the guy calls again. He's like, yeah, I was just calling about a woman. Not his mom, a woman now. And I'm like, why does it keep changing? And then
story straight.
And then literally she's like, bro, this charger doesn't work. And then I'm a nice guy, and for some reason I keep letting goddamn degenerates fucking use my power bank when they need to fix their phone. Because I'm just a nice guy. So I give her my power bank, and she's like, I'm just gonna go out for a smoke right quick. Do you mind if I bring this with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I was watching her, and then I called myself, and I was like, I kind of called myself out a little bit. I'm like, Liam, just because she's a sex worker or a prostitute, like, doesn't mean she's gonna steal your shit, okay? And I'm like, I literally thought to myself, whether you believe this, I literally thought to myself, I'm like, Liam, I thought to myself, I'm gonna have faith in humanity. I did something nice for someone, and I'm going to have faith that this isn't gonna go against me. And then I see a truck pull up, and she gets in the truck, and I'm like, that fucking whore. just immediate, just fucking faith shattered. And I start chasing, and the window's down on the truck. And I grab, like, the inside of the window, like, on the door, and just start pounding the truck. And the dude's like yelling at me, like, what the fuck, bro? And he slams on the brakes, and she's like, oh, yeah, I have his battery pack. I'm like, ah, yeah. Fucking snatched it from her. And fucking went back to the store at, like, 5 a.m. But, no, it's weird. Because, like, I'm usually pretty nihilistic about humanity, but I find it's the small stuff that really pushes me over the edge of just losing complete faith, where you do something nice for someone and they try to take advantage of that.
Feels
I'm
like
gonna
a
be
sunny
honest.
moment.
Even if I was not going to use my power bank at any given point, I would not be like, ah, yes, random patron of a gas station that I owe fucking nothing, that barely pays me enough. You can use my power bank that I bought with my own money.
What I find even crazier is the fact that Liam just takes a power bank to work.
Yeah.
They have fucking outlets in a gas station, dude.
Not really. Not like behind the
Okay.
counter. It's fucking a pain in the ass. And this is a fancy ass power bank. Like I'm trying to.
Of
find
course
it.
she tried to steal it, motherfucker.
Like it's like a $40 power bank. Cause it's.
Oh, that's not that bad.
It's not too, but it's got like 2 ports, an
I think I
LED,
have that exact same power
an
bank.
LED
Oh, never
screen,
mind. I don't.
and then if I double click it, there's a fucking flashlight. And so it's a nice power bank nonetheless, but
Utility tool.
yes, I was like, I'm not about to spend another fucking $30 on a fucking power bank. So I fucking chased that whore out of my store.
Well, I mean, I respect I respect that you were trying to do something nice, but that was not the time, place, nor person to do something nice.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, I think you need to read the room a little bit more next time, maybe when you think about doing something nice.
I just like having faith in people, but they always fucking let me down.
Why would you? Okay, well, the reason you always get let down is because you are like, ah, yes, perhaps the worst person to have faith in. I believe in you.
Yeah, but she was
You just-
off
you
the
just gotta
clock.
assess the person. You just gotta assess the person. Be like, is this person capable of disappointing me? Maybe, but you gotta 1 out of 10 likeliness.
Yeah, but it's like
gotta figure-
it's like if you put faith in people, I'm giving them the opportunity to be better. Like it's like a normal person would be like, no, fuck off, you're not touching my shit. But I'm giving them I'm like, I'm trusting you with this, and I'm gonna do something nice for you, and all I ask in return is you don't try to fuck me over. This is how society works. And then she fucking gets in a truck. And what the weirdest part is, it was one of those fucking, like, short trucks. Like, the one where the steering wheel is on the other side, because it's not fucking American made, and it's pretty much like a it's like,
Oh,
what
it's
do you
like
drive?
one of those Japanese trucks.
Yeah, it's so tiny. It's like what do you drive?
Those
It's like what
things are sick.
landscapers, like at universities or shit, are fucking speeding
Yeah,
around
yeah.
in. Yeah, it was one of those
It's
trucks
almost
she
like a
got.
fucking. It's almost like an off-road ATV type.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes, it wasn't like the truck she came in was a big black fucking like 80 grand truck, and then she left in that fucking little rinky-dink Japanese truck. But I don't know.
Segueing out of that though, like obviously you trusted someone with your power bank. You guys have read like random strangers want to use your phone to make a call?
No, I don't play that shit.
Yes. Yes,
And what do you do in those scenarios, Jacob?
Liam, was this the truck first of all, or is this one of them? Look at this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Little tuck Suzuki. You'll love it.
So it depends, because I had one guy at my old apartment named Dave, good old Dave.
Yeah.
Dave was the apartment mascot, basically. This motherfucker, I don't know.
That's what I'll be. That's what I'll be one day.
That's how you already are. You
You
were
know
the guy who
how-
likes to smoke a cigarette.
You know how, I mean, old people live in apartments.
Yes.
Dave was no exception to the rule. He was an old retired guy. From the stories he told, he was a very talkative person, and he was one of those people that like people watches. He always sat in the lobby. He would talk to anybody and everybody, and if you weren't in the lobby, you were like walking by, he would look at you. Before we moved into this apartment, he was in the lobby. When we came to check out the apartment before we moved in, fucking
This
Dave
is
was
your
sitting
first
in the
place,
lobby
Dave,
talking to
or-
us. this was my last place that I just left.
Oh,
okay,
sure.
okay, sorry, go ahead.
So Dave was sitting in the lobby when we went to like check out the place before we moved in, and he opened the door for us. Like, he just let anybody into the apartment. It's whatever. As long as you would talk to him, he would be your friend. Kind of. So he's like some old guy. He's probably like 70, 80. He's not the most well kept old man. Like, he definitely had some mental problems, and he was pretty roughed up, I guess. But you know, he was a nice guy. He was very talkative. He would never pass up on a conversation with you. But if you weren't talking to him, he was talking to him. He was always talking to himself, and like, he's one of those people. Like, if you were to pass by him on the street, you would definitely change the side of the road you're on, because he's like walking down the road with a limp, swearing to himself, and like he's talking far too loudly to himself, kind of thing. He's definitely not all there. Poor Dave. But one time he's like, "Hey, can I borrow your phone? I don't have a cell phone, and I need a cab." And he's like, "No, but what's the cab number? I'll call the cab for you." And I stood there with him, and I entered it, and I called the cab, and then I left. Like, I would have trusted him to use my phone, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know when the last time you cleaned your hands was or anything like.
Well,
I figured it just would have been faster if I did it, but
Yeah.
normally it doesn't happen to me. That was
Okay,
my
yeah.
most recent.
well, if there's
I've
three
only had,
types of
like,
people Jake hates, it's old, dirty, mentally ill, poor. 4 types. Those are.
Yeah, that's me. That's my defining character traits. It's everything I hate in a man.
I feel like I've probably told you guys this story before, but I don't know if I've told it on the podcast. I don't think I have. But it was the case of the phone call. So, I must have been like 14, 15 around this time, right? And I'm taking my little wiener dog Lucy for a walk, and it's 9:30, 10, right? Actually, no, it's probably closer to 10:30. I was watching a hockey game with my family, and it was getting late, like later into the thing, and I think we were in second period, like going into the third, and I took the dog out for the break, right, for the intermission. I walk onto, you guys know, there's like the street with the path near me, not to dox myself, but you go
Like
off
the path to my street?
No, the path at the top of my street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go straight from there. So I walk down that way, and I get onto the other street, and immediately, like, I just felt bad vibes about something. It's like my brain knew that there was something off before I consciously knew something was off.
Yeah.
And I figure out what it is after about 10, 15 seconds. I look over, and this is like a nice, like, affluent, like, you know, upper middle class neighborhood, right? Like,
It's the suburbs, yeah.
it's the suburbs, right? Like, it's the definition of like Canadian suburbs. And I like look over and I see like 2 very sketchy people just standing in the darkness on someone's porch. And like they had dirty, baggy, like sweatpants suits on, right? Like that's the vibe they were going for, right? Like gray sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and like dirt and mud and shit all over them. Right?
Love me a man in a dirty sweatsuit.
The
Yeah,
Liam
exactly.
Godson. You've heard of
But
Ralph Lauren.
It was a man and a woman, and I was like, this is weird. I am already very uncomfortable. I should turn around immediately because I think they can see me now, and I don't like that they can see me because I'm like 100 feet away from them, and I'm still like I'm at the very end of the path, just getting onto the street, and I see them maybe 2-3 houses down on the right, and I'm like, this doesn't feel safe. But stupidly, I'm like, my dog needs a walk. We're going to get some exercise. I'm going to keep walking. And I kept walking down the street. I'm like, just pay them no attention. You're probably not going to get murdered. And I get to, like, it's on a cul-de-sac, this street. So I get to the end of the little roundabout in the middle. And they, like, literally, I see them, like, running in between houses now. But, like, trying to keep their heads down. Like, they're trying to hide something. And I'm like, okay, this is bad. I should, like, run now, right? But before it's too cool, you know, it's too late to notice at this point. They're already like next to me, right? And they're like tweaking, right? I don't know what off, and I'm too young to honestly remember the details of exactly what they would have been fucked off of, right? Like I didn't know my drugs as well as I do now. But I was just like, something's very off about these two people. And like he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey man, like we really just like I need to use your phone. Can I use your phone?" And again, I'm 14 or 15, and I'm like, no, like I don't trust like that. That's not. I don't know about that. He's like, the thing that got me to like put the guard down a little bit. He's like, I just got to call my mom. And I'm like, that's a like either that's like a weird thing to actually try and put my guard down, or this is actually just some guy who's like some 18 to 25-year-old fuck up who still lives with his mom and has gotten himself in some deep shit without his phone on him. And but both of them are like fucked up. They must be like, judging off of it, they must have been on some sort of like I don't know, like
Amphetamine.
Yeah, I want to say it was an amphetamine because of some of it, but also it seemed like they were too drowsy at points too. I don't know. It was weird. Maybe like ketamine or something. I really don't know. They were not.
I'll try ketamine at some point.
Don't.
Hey, Reggie watched does a shit ton of ketamine.
And look at him. Yeah, no, and they're like, "Oh, can we use your phone? Like, my girlfriend's pregnant. Like, we got in a thing." And I'm like, "Okay, just like slow down for a second. What the fuck is happening here? Like, what's going on, right?"
I bet it was spice.
Well, a bit of spice, yeah. Yeah, no, I know. He's like, look, like we were up on Astral, and this guy like jumped me because I did some stuff he wasn't happy about. And they're in a car and they've been chasing us around for the past 2 hours. And I'm like, oh great! Now not only am I being like cornered on this street by two people bonkered out of their mind, but also there's a mysterious third party in a car trying to chase these people down, and cause unknown harms to them. And so I'm like, look, man, like I am not going to hand my phone to you. I will put a number in and I will call it and I will put it on speaker, but there's no way in hell I'm giving you my phone right now, right? And anyway, so I put the number in, I call it, and then his mom picks up, and then he kind of grabbed the phone from my hand to talk to her.
Yeah.
And he's like explaining his situation, same way he explained to me. He's like, "Oh, fucking Adam, like jumped me, and he tried to beat the shit out of me. He was threatening to kill me and all this shit. Like, I need you to come pick me up. I'm on." He's like, "What street is this?" I'm like, I'm not gonna say it, but anyway, I've said the street name. And things like I guess turned out fine. He's just like, "Thanks, man. Like, my wife's pregnant or my girlfriend's pregnant. Like, this is like fucked up situation. I gotta like we gotta get home, man. My mom's gonna be pissed." And like. And I was like, I can't believe my phone didn't get stolen and I didn't just get stabbed 37 times. But he handed me my phone back and I was like, well, are you guys like good? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna stick to the shadows and wait for my mom.
Stick to the shadow. And this is why the MDM podcast is pro-abortion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. More pro-choice. We're not
weird segue, but
But
Speaking...
and then the other day, I had a flashback to it though. And I was like, I was just walking into one of my calls for work. And there's this like sweet old lady, and she was like, "Dear, can I use your phone? My husband left me here to go home and watch Seinfeld reruns." So, and I'm out of the store sooner than I thought I would be. So he's probably having a nap on the couch right now, and I don't have my phone. And like, instantly I was taken back to being a 14-year-old on that dark night and just being like, I shouldn't give my phone away to this old lady. And then I'm like, yeah, whatever. Especially with a new
What's
phone.
she gonna do? Grab her walker and hustle down the fucking parking lot?
I can run faster than this lady. I'm good.
Speaking of Segue,
yeah.
do you guys believe that's how Segue is spelled?
Did you just type it in chat? Oh, Segue.
I thought it was Segue, like a Segway.
Well, like the segues are segue, but it's a segue is a segue. Also, how do you pronounce Cheugy or Chegui or whatever the fuck that term is?
I think it's Cheugy.
Cheugy. What the fuck are you guys talking? I've never heard this word before. What the fuck?
It's new internet speak, Liam. Keep up with the times.
I had to Google, like, one of those YouTube videos where they say the word, they pronounce the word for you. Yeah. I watched one of those. I think it's like Cheugy.
Cheugy.
What?
Something.
So
like
Cheugy.
Someone spell it.
Basic, Liam. Do you remember Basic? I'll put it in chat here.
I don't remember how the fuck to spell it. It's kind of spelled how you think it would be.
There,
like something's basic.
Yeah, it's basically like the new word for basic, I guess. I
How
don't
have
know. I
how
just see it in Twitter, and I think it's ironic, but I don't really know.
I I can't believe I don't know about this. I'm usually pretty literate
Nah,
in the
it's
internet.
fucking stupid, Liam.
It's
Don't worry
very
about
dumb.
it.
It's very dumb.
It's from 2013. Jesus.
Ah, yes, new word. Love that.
But
New word dropped before Kanye did.
on a bit more of a serious note, I feel like we should mention that they did find 751 more unmarked graves in a residential school in Saskatchewan, bringing the total number up to over 1,200, and they're still searching. So
I can't believe you're gonna be wearing those fucking glasses when you
Glasses
say
while
that.
delivering that news. Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about the Canada Day?
yes I do, and yes,
Thank you,
and
Liam.
I'm that's literally on the list, and I think I really want to get. My opinion might be a bit of a hot take, it might not. So don't jump in
Okay.
and sign off on
No,
anything.
I'm gonna let you finish, and then I'll take over and
Because
take up.
it's
You might have some thoughts on this too, but
it's definitely a nuanced conversation, and it's a weird one because it's like, first off, at no point am I defending anything Canada's ever done, and because it's just straight up indefensible, and it's more than just a blemish, and there's still systemic issues, that are occurring to this, and like it's definitely something we gotta put a much larger focus on. But I saw a few tweets, and I got a couple of them quoted here actually. One of them was, to celebrate Canada Day is to celebrate settler colonialism, genocide, violence, oppression, extraction, exploitation, and attempted annihilation of indigenous peoples. This land is not your land, it's not my land, it's stolen land. That's one. Another one is, there better not be a single goddamn government paid for firework next week because there is nothing worth celebrating about this fucking country. And this is where it kind of puts me in a weird space because it's not like I don't really care that much about Canada Day, and it's like we definitely need to recognize what's going on with the Indigenous problem and Canada's history in regards to that. But to like, there's people who are like, you're just a fucking racist if you celebrate Canada's Day. I'm like, there's things about Canada we can still be proud of, and it's like we don't need to completely dismantle Canada's entire identity over the worst part of its history. Like, they still celebrate July 4th in the States, even though, slavery. And it's like, it's weird because it's like, I don't really care that much about Canada's Day, but I do like having a little national pride, which of course is hindered by the atrocities, goddamn, that Canada has committed. But it's like, it's a weird middle ground for me. But it's like I don't necessarily want to. If getting rid of Canada Day would make people feel better, then I'm not necessarily against it. But it's like you can't just be like, oh, Canada's absolutely worthless country that's completely shit in every regard. Because I think we've done some decent things, and I think it's okay to have some pride in your fucking country, even though they've done some things, and as long as you recognize both sides. I don't know.
So, all right, you done now, Liam? Is that
pretty much
your take on it? Okay, I just want to step in here, and this is probably my hottest take, because I am, you guys know me. I'm like, very left politically. At least that's how I see myself, and I got my own views and opinions and beliefs and things.
You're
like
a libtard, yeah.
I'm a libtard, yeah. No, but honestly, I don't give a flying fuck about this. It's like, again, we should all know by now that if you live in one of the America's countries, native genocide is just a part of the thing. Why are people acting surprised in the first place? Like, this has been known, and I know we didn't get like taught it in Histoire du Canada or anything like that in fucking high school. Like, it's touched on like, oh, they did a treaty and it's all good now. It's not, and Indigenous genocide is like rooted in Canada's history, yes, and we should all be aware of that, yes. But it's also like seeing all the people who like just learned that Canada's been like fucking awful suddenly being like, oh, we shouldn't celebrate Canada Day at all because they did so much bad stuff. And it's like, yeah, and we probably shouldn't, and nationalism's bad, but like, It's a fucking paid day off for people. Let people wear a silly red shirt outside and go fucking have a drink or whatever. And stop just getting so mad about things on Twitter where you're not making any actual policy difference in how like the lives of indigenous people are being, like, you know what I mean, how indigenous people in this country are actually being treated on a
It's
day-to-day basis.
slacktivism.
It's slacktivism. It's exactly what it is. It's posting a thing on Instagram or you're on your Instagram story to show that you don't support indigenous genocide. And it's like, of course you shouldn't support indigenous genocide. That's a fucking no-brainer. But
Big
like,
thumbs down.
and that's the other thing too. You touched on a point of like, I don't care for Canada Day, and neither do I. I'm the kind of guy where it's like, I never bought like a high school hoodie or like a fucking university hoodie. Like I have no pride for like anything that I do. I'm just like, I'm a product of circumstance, baby. I'm just here. I'm just existing, right? That's my thing, right? It's like Canada, sure, whatever, better than the States, I guess. That's my whole
That's
way
her
I
motto.
feel about where I was born, right? Like, I don't give a flying fuck. I'll put on a Molson Canadian cutoff shirt just to fit in with people at a party, right? That's kind of my that's the height of my Canada pride, right? It's like, is that, and I seriously just don't give a shit. And maybe that's a bad take, and maybe I need to learn more. But again, it's like these are all things that I've already read about, already knew about. And it's just like now to see it all just in this slacktivism way on Twitter, where people are like, "Oh, if you celebrate Canada Day anyway, you're going straight to hell, and we all hate you, and you're not doing enough, and you're like," I just don't. I honestly, I just don't give a shit. It's just like, yeah, Canada sucks. Most countries are bad. Almost all of the Americas are rooted in indigenous genocide. Like,
Say you got to
yes,
it first.
exactly. Genocide the natives, say you got to it first. Thank you, Bob Burnham, for that lyric. Yeah, it's just silly. It's just people getting mad over something, and it's like a very good reason to be mad. And I get that it's too coming from a place where like we're seeing all this news about residential schools, and it's a lot easier to be more upset when you're seeing actual numbers and statistics of human loss, right? Like it's easier to be mad and upset about something when it's not just like, oh yeah, like, well, we should probably be aware that Canada didn't treat indigenous people very nice, and like Starlight Tours or whatever that, you know, kind of gets pushed off to the side, and we don't really talk about all that often. And it's like, it's a lot easier to be upset when you're like, yeah, like 1,200 kids were fucking murdered in schools that were run by Catholic state sanctioned churches, right? Like, that's fucked up. That's awful, right? And it's like, that's a good thing to be mad over, and we should all be mad over that. And I think reparations are necessary, but at the same time, if some fucking guy named Randy wants to go fucking celebrate Canada Day and put on a red shirt and a white hat and fucking, you know, get drunk and try and date rape some chick or something, like, whatever, nothing's gonna change. Randy's gonna do his fucking Randy thing on Canada Day, right? Like, nothing, you know what I mean? You're
Randy's a rapist, not a racist. Okay, that's the message we're
well,
trying to.
Either way, not good, not good. But no, it's just like, I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, no, Jake.
I mean, I don't know if saying it's whatever to Randy being a date rapist is is the best. No, I know what you mean. I think I mean, it's not the first time. That's literally how the internet does things. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, a new thing is bad. We all have to jump on this bandwagon and say how bad it is. I mean, I totally understand. It is bad. But like you said, it's not something that should be like, wow, this is news to me. Like, we all fucking knew it. It's just now it's out. You know, there's numbers. There's literal numbers, and it's recent, so it matters more. Like, it's been a thing. It's not good. It's very, very bad, in fact. And honestly, like, I get what they're going for with canceling Canada Day. And I don't give a fuck. Cancel Canada Day, sure. Cancel July 4th. Cancel everything. Nobody should be happy with, like,
the place they were born.
If you're gonna be...
no one should be happy.
Yeah, if you're gonna be, like, nationalist, do it for the good things. Like, it's only... They're canceling it because it's convenient right now. It's like, we shouldn't be celebrating at all because something bad happened, which I can get that because something bad did happen, but it's been happening. Like, should we have not celebrated any Canada Days since the genocides happened? Sure, probably. But here we are, and now that people have the numbers, they're like, okay, Canada bad. No, motherfucker, Canada's been bad. I just like, are we gonna cancel Canada Day next year? No, it's definitely gonna be a thing next year, unless another big statistic comes out a month before it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels like they're canceling it just because it's convenient. They're like, oh well, we should make it as a day of. They should make it like a Remembrance Day or a, oh fuck, we did bad. Instead of canceling Canada Day this year, how about we do something? How about instead of going on Twitter and saying how mad we are that Canada Day is a thing, we go and, I don't know, maybe have a peaceful protest for Canada Day, or go make a change somewhere instead of writing a Twitter post. Use
Yeah.
Canada Day as a day to better Canada, not to celebrate Canada's past. Motherfucker, make it better.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing by canceling it?
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
No, like
It
I
doesn't make sense to me, but that's the same with everything. Like, anything bad happens, like fucking somebody does something bad, Twitter's on their ass. They're no longer allowed to exist. There's going to be protests whenever they're seen. There's going to be a riot out front of their house. That's just how shit goes in this world. Something bad happens, and it's convenient for you to get publicity out of it. So you do that.
hashtag cancel culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag Trump 2024.
It's the same with everything, man. Like it's not even surprising. Like,
Well-
though, let's not shy away from the fact that, like, yeah, Canada's fucked, man. We have a bad history. Everywhere has a bad history. I'm not saying ours is acceptable because it's less bad or anything. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's
Yeah.
not surprising to me. It's disappointing, sure, but like we all knew it's been a thing.
Well, yeah, exactly. And let me segue this into why the left is just full of retards. Because politically, like, this is what pisses me off so much about the left, is how they ostracize people. Because, like I said, I'd be totally down for Canada to become, like, a Remembrance Day and shit. But they're just out here being like, if you celebrate Canada's Day, you're glad those children are dead, you're a fucking racist, fuck off. And now, guess what? The conservative leader goes, he speculates he's probably the only leader who's proud of Canada amid calls to cancel Canada Day. So what you're doing is you're taking a bunch of neutral people who could help you with policy that's progressive in bettering the world, ostracizing them, and making them go to a place where it's like, Bob just fucking works construction and wanted to have a beer on Canada's Day. One side's calling him a racist, one side's like, yeah, fucking have that beer. Who do you think Bob's gonna vote for? The fucking conservatives. Like, the left is like, I heard this quote once and it really perfectly describes the left, where it's like, perfection has become the enemy of the good. Where it's like, if you're not perfectly aligned in every attribute, you're the enemy, and then you get fucking ostracized. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you can't keep fucking ostracizing these middle of the road people, because that's how Trump gets elected.
Yeah, I mean, like, the biggest enemy of the left, and I say this as, again, I'm a leftist. Like, I'm fairly unapologetic in that, too. And it's just, like, the biggest enemy of the left is the left. It's all infighting, and it's all, like, disagreeing over the smallest point, but then, like, wanting to just dismantle this person's entirety because they don't agree on one specific solution with you, or with the general consensus of what that solution should be with, for example, just left Twitter, right? Like, that is a thing. And it's like, yeah, the people on the right, they're not much of a fucking, intellectual or political enemy, because they're like, the transgenders can't be reading books to the kids in the libraries. Like, that's kind of their whole thing. They're just screaming about that. Meanwhile, leftists, yeah, just getting mad at each other for, like, you don't think we should have this motherfucker's head on a stake right now? Like, and it's just that shit, like, all the time. And it can be annoying, for sure.
Yeah.
It'll get you.
Good old world.
Good
Gotta
old world.
love where we live.
Jacob,
At least it's not as bad as that other place, I guess.
True. Always better to be in this place than that other place, you know?
I just want the big sleep, honestly. Just give it to me. Maybe I'll
One of
give it
these
e-
to
days.
myself.
Bleep me, Papa Jesus.
In 2030, I'll be 30 and kill myself then. Well, on that note,
Good job. Words.
No,
Word,
I
word.
haven't seen the fucking Dude Man's Depression cast yet, by the way.
okay, well, that's not what I was at. I was to talk about the Polish military and a fun little story we have to close off the podcast.
Let's go.
Have you guys heard of Wojtek, the Polish army bear?
Yes.
Oh, I have heard of. Yes.
Wojtek.
Yes.
Okay.
My man, thank you.
So, Wojtek was a bear.
End of story.
All right.
Sorry. Okay. So, on April 8th, 1942, Polish soldiers encountered a young... Let me make sure my fucking... Okay, I want to make sure my mic was outputting for this. So on the VOD, it's not just me fucking telling the entire story. Was a bear cub. They basically bought this fucking cub from a little 8-year-old Iranian dude who was like, hey, I got this bear for you guys.
Well, no, hold on. If I remember correctly, wasn't it like they were out in the woods and this like kid just came up to them and was like, "Hey, I'll give you this bear in exchange for some sweets."
Yeah, pretty
like, it was
much.
a platoon of people, and then they're like, "Fuck it, here, take a chocolate bar," and then he just gave them like a baby bear that was in a cage.
Yeah.
He just ran by a mother bear and just fucking yoink.
He just trades bears for
I'm gonna go get some
fucking
candy.
chocolate, but he initially had problems swallowing and was fed condensed milk from an old vodka bottle. He was then given fruit, marmalade, honey, and syrup, and was often rewarded with beer, which became his favorite drink. He also enjoyed smoking or eating cigarettes, as well as drinking coffee in the mornings. I love how the soldiers just didn't know what bears were for, and just gave them soldiership.
Cigarettes. Hold on, eating cigarettes while lit. I want to make that clear. Wojtek was big on eating lit cigarettes.
Lit cigarettes.
Makes it
He
spicy.
would also sleep with other soldiers if they were cold at night. He enjoyed wrestling with the soldiers and was taught to salute when greeted, which I just fucking love. Just imagine a fucking
Just a bear.
a bear saluted. And he'd even march behind them on his hind legs. He had his caregiver, and then from Egypt, the corps he was with was reassigned to fight alongside the British 8th Army in the Italian campaign. However, regulations for the British transport ship, which was to carry them to Italy, forbade mascot and pet animals. To get around this restriction, Wojtek was officially drafted into the Polish army as a private and enlisted among the soldiers of the 22nd Artillery Supply Company. So he's officially a military man. As an enlisted soldier, he had his own paybook, rank, and serial number. He lived with the other men in the tents or in a special wooden crate, which was transported by truck. And during the Battle of Monte Cassino, Wojtek helped his unit by carrying anvo in 100-pound crates and 25-pound artillery shells. And you might think like they just had it strapped to him like a horse. No, he was on his hind legs carrying shells of ammunition and handing them to soldiers, which is just
fucking boy. That is a
beautiful
true
aesthetic.
soldier.
He never dropped a single shell. And
Damn right he didn't.
while this story generated controversy, many soldiers have accounts of, including a British soldier recalling seeing a bear carrying crates of ammo. He carried boxes that normally required 4 men, which he would stack onto a truck or other ammunition boxes. It earned him a promotion to the rank of corporal. In recognition of his popularity, a depiction of bear carrying an artillery shell was adopted as the official emblem of the 22nd Company. He also found a spy in the camp and scared him so much that he gave over the secrets to the 22nd.
I hadn't heard this story. What?
Yeah, no, he found the spy in the showers, and to reward him, they basically just gave him free range of a pantry. They basically just gave him like a pantry worth of food, and I forgot how many liters of beer. But he was a real one. He was eventually transported to a zoo where he spent the rest of his life.
That's a shame. You're like, man, you did so good in war. Here, we'll cage you up so people can look at you.
He was visited by journalists and former Polish soldiers, some of his old fucking vet friends, some of whom tossed cigarettes for him to eat, as he did during his time in the army.
I hope he remembered them. I'm sure he did. I feel like bears are probably pretty sentient. I feel like they probably have
yeah.
like good memory. So
Yeah.
the bear probably did in fact remember those, which is dope.
He died in 1963 at the age of 21, weighing nearly 1,100 pounds and was over 6 feet tall.
Sounds like Liam, minus the dead.
Minus the 6 feet tall.
Hey, listen, I was trying to at least hype him up a little bit. I was trying to keep the dead away, Braden.
Yeah, that's in his near future. I don't know if he's gonna hit over 6 feet tall anytime soon.
What happens first, to dead or 6 foot tall?
All you need to know is when you see me on the news. All right, when I die, you'll see it on the news first. Or you might just hear it.
Local rap legend passes away
Halifax
from
explosion.
condensed milk overdose.
I just drive a fucking explosive ship into another explosive ship. Halifax explosion 2 electric boogaloo. I'm just blasting ocean roads.
Imagine. Man, Halifax explosion should be a topic for the stream.
Yeah.
That'd be a good podcast topic. It could be like an informative. We could all do our research. You know,
you do like a true crime episode, just except the Halifax explosion.
Yeah,
it's a big boom.
Most people probably don't know about it. It's fucking Halifax.
Largest man-made explosion prior to the nukes.
And
before atoms.
I think the it was always the largest other like non-nuclear, but I think that that firework explosion in Beirut was bigger than the Halifax explosion actually. Yeah. I think it was the first man-made explosion that's not nuclear to pass the Halifax
gunpowder.
explosion.
That's not fair.
And that's the thing too, though. It's easy. Like we all saw those videos of the Beirut explosion, and it's like in the Beirut explosion, it's like you have modern buildings, right? Like up to code, modern concrete buildings getting reduced to fucking like atoms.
Are you talking about
camera.
Miami?
No, that was that different thing. That similar though. But then like picture like houses in Halifax and like businesses in Halifax in like the early 1900s, and just like basically cardboard cutouts compared to like the structures we build today on a regular basis. Just the city didn't stand a fucking chance.
Yeah,
I wish they would have widened the roads back then when they had the time.
Or you think in the city they should have actually made proper intersections.
You think once all the buildings get wiped out, you'd be like, fuck. Well, I guess we'll start from scratch and make it better.
No, you can't expect Canada to start from scratch on anything and try and get better. I thought we learned this.
Nah, we'll just cancel everything. Just cancel Halifax. It's gone.
Exactly.
No more Halifax.
Cancel us. So I guess
we're well on our way.
I guess all I have to ask is, you boys got any plans for Canada's Day?
Hell yeah, brother.
When is Canada's Day?
It's on a fucking Thursday.
Oh, I'll be playing Phasmo.
Had to be. I'll be enjoying my day off of work before having to go back in for a Friday. Oh, you know what? I'm just thinking. I should probably just take Friday off next week. Yeah, now that I think about it, I should request.
Sorry, I'm taking a day of mourning.
Morning. Yeah, be like.
Is that too soon?
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna be celebrating Canada Day on Canada Day, and I'm just gonna have to mentally grapple with that afterwards. So I'm gonna need a day. Sorry.
Just be like.
See you next week.
Yeah. No, I can't say that. God damn it.
Well, in the meantime, I gotta go piss. So let's wrap this up.
Me as well.
Adios. Oh shit! I just
good cast. Is there anybody that we can give a fat raid to today?
We could give a
Zerathor or Saren, I would say.
What about your boy Stu?
Stu Live? I don't follow Stu, unfortunately.
You don't follow Stu?
No, I don't.
Damn, what a soupy guy.
What about Kate? We got Cajun.
I rated Cajun yesterday.
Well, it is Pride Month.
Alright, rate him again. I don't care. Rate whoever you want. There's many good people. Just because I rated Cajun yesterday doesn't mean we can't do it again.
No, it's illegal now. That's Twitch TOS. You can't raid the same person twice in a day from different.
Lemon, you're absolutely right. Phasmo, woohoo! That's the best way to spend Canada Day is by hunting ghosts.
Maybe you'll
Oh.
hunt some of the.
Oh,
Do you hunt any children ghosts in that game?
There is actually.
There's some children. Well, there's a lot more. The new DLC added over 1,200 new ghosts.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
The Canada Day DLC. It's funny.
So let's
Let's
not.
wrap this up. Yeah. Good. Thanks for coming out today and watching whatever the fuck this was today.
Shit show.